All right, so welcome back everybody for another deep dive.
Um,
And this time we are going headfirst into a Premier League clash.
oh yeah.
Real clash of the Titans here. Manchester United versus Arsenal this Sunday, March 9th at Old Trafford.
Old Trafford.
You know that stadium that's practically dripping with football history?
Yeah, it's not just about the history, though. It's also about the current form of these two teams and how they match up tactically. It's going to be a fascinating game to watch.
Exactly. And we've got match details, recent form analysis, and we even have some betting tips to help you navigate all the excitement. First things first, kickoff is at 4:30 p.m. GMT on Sunday.
Remember that it's prime time viewing,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't want to miss a minute of this one.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about these teams.
Okay.
Manchester United, they're a bit of a puzzle this season.
Yeah.
Capable of brilliance 1 minute and defensive blunders the next.
Yeah, their home record at Old Trafford has been surprisingly inconsistent, which means there's a potential for an upset here.
Especially considering Arsenal are riding high after a string of wins.
Yeah, it's not just a hot streak either. Their waveform is just as impressive.
Wow.
They're a force to be reckoned with on any pitch.
So we've got Manchester United, a team with flashes of brilliance but struggling for consistency, going up against a confident Arsenal side that's been steamrolling opponents. Where should we start unpacking this matchup?
Well, let's look at some of the key players first. For Manchester United, Marcus Rashford's pace and creativity are always a threat, and Bruno Fernandes can unlock defenses with his passing, but
But there are injury concerns, right? Luke Shaw, Johnny Evans, Mason Mount, are they all going to be fit?
yeah, that's the big question, and their absence could weaken United's defense considerably. And it's not like Arsenal are without their own injury worries.
So let's talk about Arsenal's danger men. Bukayo Saka with his dribbling and vision, Gabriel Martinelli lightning fast and a real goal-scoring threat, and of course Martin Odegaard pulling the strings in midfield.
But Saka's been nursing a hamstring niggle, and Gabriel Jesus is still recovering from that knee injury. And we can't forget Takehiro Tomiyasu and Ben White both dealing with fitness doubts, so both teams are dealing with some potentially significant absences.
Talk about adding another layer of intrigue. Okay, so let's say both teams have their ideal starting lineups, tactically speaking. What are we likely to see?
Well, Manchester United usually favors a 4-2-3-1 formation.
For those who haven't spent their lives dissecting football formations, that means 4 defenders, 2 holding midfielders, 3 attacking midfielders, and a lone striker up top.
Exactly. Their strategy likely hinges on a compact defense and relying on Rashford's speed to launch quick counterattacks. If Arsenal's attack gets bogged down, that could be where United finds their openings.
And let's not forget, Old Trafford has seen its fair share of dramatic comebacks. This is a team that knows how to fight until the final whistle.
Oh, absolutely. The atmosphere at Old Trafford can be electrifying, and it can definitely give Manchester United a boost, especially if they're chasing the game.
Now, what about Arsenal? I've heard Mikel Arteta is a real tactical mastermind. What's he likely to cook up?
Well, he tends to prefer a fluid 4-3-3, which means
Let me guess, 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 3 forwards.
you got it. But the key here is the fluidity. And those forwards are constantly interchanging positions, making them really difficult to mark.
So we're talking high pressing, quick passing, using the width of the pitch, and explosive attacks.
That's Arsenal in a nutshell, and Arteta's tactical flexibility makes them even more dangerous. Remember how he tweaked Odegaard's role a few weeks back? Brilliantly unlocked their attack against a very stubborn defense, so you never quite know what to expect from them.
Okay, that sounds terrifying from a defender's perspective.
Yeah.
But tactics aside, what do the numbers tell us who's statistically favored in this match?
Well, when you look at clean sheet chances, Arsenal has a significant advantage. They have a 55 to 60% chance of keeping a clean sheet compared to Manchester United's 28 to 30%. That's a pretty big gap.
So it sounds like Arsenal's defense is a real wall.
Yeah, it's been very impressive this season, now on the other side of that coin. Arsenal rarely fails to score. They have only a 10 to 15% chance of drawing a blank, while Manchester United has a 25 to 30% chance of not scoring.
That speaks volumes about their attacking prowess. So more goals from Arsenal and fewer conceded. Do their recent goal averages reflect that?
Absolutely. Over their last 7 matches, Arsenal has averaged 2 goals scored and only 0.8 conceded. Manchester United, on the other hand, has averaged 1.4 goals scored and 1.6 conceded.
Okay, so Arsenal scoring more and conceding less. That paints a pretty clear picture of their recent form. But let's not forget that this is Manchester United versus Arsenal at Old Trafford. We're talking about a match with a ton of history and emotion behind it.
And that's what makes this match so compelling. You've got the weight of history at Old Trafford, the potential for dramatic twists and turns, and two teams with very different narratives this season.
It's Manchester United trying to claw their way back to the top against a confident Arsenal side looking to cement their place among the Premier League elite. I can already sense the drama.
Yeah, it's a classic clash of styles and narratives, and it's one you won't want to miss.
All right, so we've covered the teams, their recent form, and the tactical battle we can expect, but let's be honest, everyone wants to know who's going to win this thing.
Well, the bookies have Arsenal as the favorites, giving them roughly a 51% chance of winning.
But it's football, anything can happen.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Manchester United might be the underdog here, but they are playing at home, and we've seen them pull off upsets before, especially in a match with this much history and rivalry behind it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of football. Predictions can be useful, but the outcome often comes down to who wants it more on the day and who can capitalize on the other team's mistakes.
Speaking of predictions, let's delve into the betting markets. What are the experts saying about potential outcomes and smart bets for this match?
Well, if you're looking for a safer bet, the double chance market is worth considering. Basically, you're betting on Arsenal to either win or draw. It might not offer the highest payout, but it has a solid 81% probability of winning.
Okay, so if you're feeling risk-averse, that's a good option. But what about those of us who are hoping for some fireworks? Will this be a goal fest or a tense, low-scoring affair?
Well, considering the attacking talent on both sides and some potential defensive vulnerabilities, I'd lean towards over 2.5 goals. That means we're likely to see at least 3 goals in the match, which has about a 58% probability based on the data.
3 goals, maybe more. That sounds promising for those who love an action-packed game. So if we're looking at potential score lines, what are the most likely outcomes according to the data?
Yeah, the stats suggest a 1 or 2-0 victory for Arsenal or a 1-1 draw as the most probable outcomes.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks here. What are some concrete betting tips that could help someone navigate this match?
Well, our sources have compiled a list of 6 betting tips, ranging from conservative to more aggressive. The first tip is a straightforward bet on Arsenal to win, which has odds of 1.96. It's simple, direct, and reflects their status as favorites.
Solid advice for those who believe in Arsenal's momentum. What's next on the list?
The second tip is both teams to score bet with odds of 1.90. This one's for those who believe both teams will find the net, regardless of the final result. It's a good bet if you anticipate an open and attacking game from both sides.
Makes sense, given their attacking firepower. What about something a little less risky?
The third tip is that double chance bet we mentioned earlier, betting on Arsenal to win or draw. It has odds of 1.23, offering lower risk for those who prioritize minimizing potential losses.
So playing it safe, but still backing Arsenal in some capacity. What about for those who are leaning towards a high-scoring match?
Well, the fourth tip is betting on over 2.5 goals with odds of 1.72. This one's for those who anticipate a goal-filled match and are feeling a bit more adventurous.
Okay, and what about for those who like to live on the edge? Any high-risk, high-reward bets?
Well, the fifth tip is an aggressive parlay or accumulator combining an Arsenal win with both teams to score. It offers combined odds of around 3.73, making it a potentially lucrative but riskier bet.
So you're essentially doubling down on Arsenal's dominance now for our more cautious listeners. What's the final tip?
The sixth tip is a more conservative parlay combining an Arsenal win or draw that double chance again with over 1.5 goals. This option offers odds of around 1.50, providing a balance of decent returns with a lower level of risk.
So we've got a whole spectrum of betting options for our listeners to consider, depending on their risk appetite and how strongly they feel about the match.
Exactly. And remember, these tips are just suggestions based on data and expert analysis. The final decision always rests with you.
And as always, bet responsibly and within your means. Don't let the excitement of the match cloud your judgment. But setting aside the betting aspect for a moment, what's really striking you as we head into this clash?
You know what really fascinates me is how these two teams are a reflection of the Premier League's current landscape. You have Manchester United, a club steeped in history, trying to find its footing again.
And then you have Arsenal, a team that's undergone a complete transformation under Arteta, embracing a modern attacking style of play. It's almost symbolic of the changing of the guard in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's a very compelling narrative, isn't it? The old guard versus the new wave, and With both teams battling injuries to key players, the tactical battle becomes even more intriguing.
Absolutely. Speaking of tactics, let's go back to Arsenal's 4-3-3 for a moment. I know you mentioned their fluidity, but can you give us a concrete example of how that's been so effective for them this season?
Sure. Take their recent match against Leicester City, for instance. Saka nominally started on the right wing, but he kept drifting centrally, dragging defenders out of position. And this created space for Ben White to overlap on the right, leading to several dangerous crosses. It's like a constantly shifting puzzle for opposing defenses to solve.
So it's not just about individual brilliance, it's about coordinated movement and exploiting those gaps that appear for just a second.
Exactly. It's a testament to Arteta's coaching and the players' understanding of his system. They're a well-oiled machine at the moment.
Okay, so we've got a Manchester United side with a history of comebacks and a never-say-die attitude going up against a tactically astute and informed Arsenal for our listener who's getting ready to watch this match. What's the key takeaway here? What should they be paying attention to as the game unfolds?
I think the key takeaway is that while Arsenal are statistically the favorites, the magic of Old Trafford and the unpredictable nature of football leave the door open for a Manchester United upset. It's a cliche, but form goes out the window in these big rivalry matches.
You're right. Anything can happen on Derby Day. We've seen stranger things happen in football.
Absolutely. That's why we love this sport. So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave our listener with a final thought, something to chew on as they anticipate this match, considering everything we've discussed, the injuries, the tactical approaches, the historical context. Who do you think will be the key difference maker in this match?
Will it be Rashford's pace for United? Saka's trickery for Arsenal? Or maybe someone completely unexpected will step up and grab the headlines?
That's the beauty of it. We just don't know. That's part of what makes these matches so exciting.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, to our listener, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into Manchester United versus Arsenal. We've covered the match details, the team's form, tactical analysis, and even some betting tips to help you navigate this exciting clash.
Yeah, we hope you're feeling informed, prepared, and ready for what promises to be a captivating 90 minutes of football.
Remember, football is more than just a game. It's a story, a drama, a spectacle, and this Sunday at Old Trafford, we have all the ingredients for a chapter that could become legendary.
So settle in, grab your snacks, and get ready to witness a clash of titans as Manchester United and Arsenal battle it out for Premier League glory.
We'll be back next week with another deep dive exploring a completely different topic. Until then, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep the conversation going.
See you next time.